Hey everyone, welcome back to Keep the Community Fed podcast. This is season 2, episode 1, and you're in for a very special episode today. I'm your host, Carmen Smith, the executive director at White Center Food Bank, with our team that makes this all happen. Jefferson Rose, our development and communications director.
Hey, let's go, season 2.
And Randy Wynn, our marketing and community engagement manager.
Yep.
He just got a promotion at the beginning of the year, so a little round of applause for Randy. And today we have a very special guest, Aaron Garcia,
Hey.
executive director at the White Center Community Development Association and White Center Community King.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yes, that is definitely for sure. And I've known you pretty much since I started working at the food bank almost 9 years ago. Yes, and so honored to get to have you on the podcast today and really get to be in community with you and see how our journeys have kind of paralleled into becoming executive directors. Right. Yes, and so I'm really excited for this episode. Randy and Jefferson, do you have anything you would like to say about Aaron?
I think the first time I met Aaron, he had tons of energy. And so to this day, that energy still lives. And then always appreciate your presence, man. It's always a good feeling to see you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and I just want to congratulate. We'll talk more about this, but this last weekend, what an amazing celebration. The hub opened up, ribbon cutting, just huge congrats. What an amazing project. So thank you.
Thank you. All
right. So introduce yourself, like for listeners that maybe don't know you. Tell us a little bit more about you, your history, your background, your connection to the White Center community.
All of it?
All of it.
All of it.
Give us the 411. We have all the time in the world for you.
Okay, I'm going in. What's important to know? Well, first and foremost, Aaron David Garcia Virgen is my entire name. That was the name my mama gave me when I was born. I go by Aaron. I go by Aaron. I go by whatever makes sense in the moment. But yeah, Aaron David Garcia Virgen is the entire name.
So when we're mad at you, we can use the full
name. If you say Aaron David Garcia, like you say it like that, you're gonna throw me off.
You're gonna listen right up.
Because I'm gonna expect a chocolate to fly across the room right after that. So, my family, we came from Guadalajara, Mexico. So we immigrated here when I was like 2 or 3. What else? And we got settled in downtown Seattle first, and eventually we came here to White Center. I did kindergarten through high school. So I did the Shorewood route, Cascade Middle School, Evergreen High School. What else is important about those years? My family actually came here because of the Mexican restaurant boom that happened in the 90s and 2000s. So in 6th grade, my dad was like, yo, you got to pull your weight. So after 6th grade ended, I was working at the restaurant. I was a busboy, a prep cook, a server, eventually earned my way up to host and then server. So I've always kind of been in the service industry. Yeah. I always like to tell folks that I am naturally a very, very shy kid. And that experience really helped me like break out of that shell of how to like socialize, how to earn a tip. Because sometimes you just got to play the part. You got to, do the customer service thing. So I think that was a very formative experience for me. And then I got to do that with my family. So that's a really cool like upbringing. So from 6th grade to like 11th grade, that was like the family business.
What was your favorite job you had at the restaurant?
Definitely being a waiter, because you got the most tips. And you got to decide how to ratio it out. Yeah. Um, I got to serve Gary Payton.
Wow.
Yep. He had a Jalisco burrito,
You still
carne asada,
remember. I love that.
Cadillac margarita. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, they would come through. So that was, and the dope part about that is people would just give tickets away during the night. So we used to go to games all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
so fun.
So I feel actually no, I used to hate Starbucks way before other people used to hate Starbucks because they took away our Sonics.
Oh,
And anyway, I'm let it go. But
well, hopefully we'll get some good news this year.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think food has been like serving people food has been part of my journey since the get. It's always been I've always seen it as a thing that brings people together. So I think that's such an important piece to me and my family and what we did. Um, what else? I eventually, and the reason I like to tell this story too is I wasn't a good kid academically.
Hmm.
A lot of folks look at me like, you're on the school board. Like, what you mean you didn't get the best grades back in the day? And the reason I share this is my freshman, sophomore year, I was more focused on sports. I was
Hmm.
more focused on after school activities and fun. And my grades reflected that. And I struggled a lot. And the reason I like to share this is my junior, senior year, I had a mentor who like checked me, said, hey, you want to go to college? You like to do these activities, but you're making it very hard. Like I wasn't even going to graduate on time. Like that's how bad my situation was, right?
Hmm.
So she sat me down with my parents, and this is like the important thing about having a mentor. She said, Aaron really likes to do sports. He also really wants to go to college. We need to figure out how to reset his priorities. And she actually made me stop working. And I was like, there's no way my parents are gonna like let me not
Yeah.
work. Like that's not gonna happen. You're crazy, lady. And my parents were like, oh, bet, easy. He doesn't have to work. And that was one of the rare moments where I kind of learned like you have to develop the asking for help muscle. You can't just assume like people know how to ask for help. I had
Right.
to learn. I had somebody literally had to teach me how to go to my parents and ask for help. And I constantly tell people that I work with, don't just assume that we know how to do this. It's a muscle that we have to train and practice. And I think part of my life journey has been constantly saying, I need help in X, Y, and Z. So all the things that I've done is a practice of saying, oh, I can't do this by myself, but if other people help me, we can do this, we can get there together.
Yeah.
So I did it. My mentor made me take full time Running Start and a full set of classes at Evergreen, which was probably not allowed.
Wow.
Not only did I graduate on time, but I get to go to Western Washington University.
Awesome.
And Western, I won't tell you the full story there, but long story short, when I was in college, I remember saying, the only reason I want to go to college was because I want to get paid and take my family out of White Center.
Mm.
Because we have that like reputation, that history. And when I got to Western, I was like, holy shit. So
Yeah, you could.
it's fair
It's
game.
okay. It's all good.
Uh, if everybody who gets this opportunity to go get this piece of paper does what I was thinking of doing, then this community is never going to come up. So there are so many moments, and I would be here for hours if I really like went in deep on that. But I realized not only do I need to get this piece of paper, but I need to go back into my community
Mm.
and take what I'm learning and invest into it so that it can grow like I did. So long story short, I got that piece of paper, came back into community. I did college access work. I thought I was going to be in education. That was my whole jam. So I did trio college access
Yeah.
work
Uh-huh.
for a couple years, and I jumped to the White Center CDA. And Auntie Celia was like, "Yo, this project that we're gonna probably talk about a lot later should be led by and for communities. So you're gonna do it, and I don't care if you don't know what you're doing. We're gonna figure
Yeah.
it out together." So long story short, that is my life journey.
That is so incredible. And I think, you were saying like how you weren't the best student and now you're on the school board.
Right?
Like people might not believe you, but I also like that experience is still so important because there's so many students that are like that, especially at that young age, right? We're all trying to figure it out. And to have somebody with that lived experience to be able to look up to and know, like, you have time to figure it out and you might need to talk to a mentor or somebody else to be able to like figure it out, especially, you know, growing up with immigrant parents. A lot of navigating those systems we have to do on our own just because like our parents never navigated those systems before, and so it becomes really challenging. And then, you know, you get imposter syndrome too, and you don't want to have to ask for help because a lot of your other peers like don't, they seem to have it all figured out, right?
I thought the week before I graduated from Western, Ashton Kutcher was going to jump out and be like, "Punked, you didn't do this." Like the imposter syndrome is so
Yeah.
real in those spaces.
Yeah, for real. So yes,
Let's just pause real quick. Randy needed to do something. Can you move your mic down?
now this way.
That's a great pause because I got to wipe my sweaty head off for a little bit.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, I wasn't cutting your face a little bit.
Oh, okay.
We'll cut and paste this little chunk. So
Awesome.
Get your sweaty face off of there.
I moved from my original. I was like this earlier, and so now I moved to this.
Good.
All right.
So tell me more about like that transition from being in education to coming to nonprofit.
There's just so much I learned from that it doesn't even really feel like a transition per se. So many things that I've learned in the process. So my former job was helping young people navigate the college access process. So think FAFSA, scholarships, college applications, scholarships, that whole world. And what I realized about affordable housing development was all it is glorified project management. So take the same skill sets that I was helping young folks do over here and apply it to adults who still act like young folks over here and just hold people to expectations, keep projects moving. We're gonna hit barriers, right? And the whole thing around this is how do you work a problem and don't get paralyzed by it? Yep, that kind of sucks. We got to raise another couple $1 million. Let's figure it out. Oh, the permitting or the zoning or the what have you, things are gonna come up. What I realized with young people is you just have to keep on encouraging them to move forward. Don't get paralyzed by the thing that's in front of you right now. Keep your eye on the end, and you're going to get there. And when I think of the many, many, many times that this project was almost paralyzed or stopped over the last 8 to 10 years, I had to keep on reminding myself of the end game, right? This is only temporary. This is only, it feels like it's the end of the world now, but we're going to get through it. And look at us now.
I know. 8 to 10 years, that's like crazy to think about. Just because like when you're in it, that feels so long. I mean, but then 10 years
Nobody tells you it's going to be 10 years.
No. Well,
they're always like next year. It's going to happen next year.
So tell us more about the hub. Like tell us more about like those initial conversations. Is that what like hooked you into the White Center CDA, was the hub project?
No. So Sealy brought me on board as the White Center Promise Director. And the Promise Initiative was a initiative in partnership with Highline School District, all these community-based orgs, different faith institutions. And it was a federal grant that we were applying to. And it was a multi-year, I think it's like a 10-year, multi-year federal grant through the Department of Education that doesn't even exist anymore. But the idea was that if you can create, it was a funding source, but if you can create systems that break down silos and help different community-based orgs, different systems, healthcare systems, education systems, community-based nonprofit systems work together, and you'll be able to make measurable gains. And the reason I like to share this is even though we didn't receive the Federal Promise grant, so much of this work still embodies that mission of trying to break down silos, trying to make sure that we have measurable gains. So you might recall about 8 years ago, we were in partnership with Communities of Opportunity. CLO had a target to make measurable gains in housing, health, economic opportunity, and community building. When you look at this project and look at the work that we've done over the last 8 years, housing, we got healthcare, economic opportunities, and community building. Like this thing is a manifestation of that commitment that we started 8 years ago. And I can almost guarantee you, whatever measures we decided to start off with, we've already been making gains, and this is only going to be an accelerator to that.
I see the pin you're wearing. It says "Living on Promise." Is that from?
That's Highline School
Oh,
District.
okay.
That was a
Okay.
school board thing.
Okay.
I was just at a partners meeting, so
Okay.
yeah.
So how did so there's COO, but like in community, how did the conversation start about the hub project?
I think since our inception, there's always been this ask about how do we get a place where we can be in community, a space that we can call our own. Um, it's actually a trip, even though there's a lot of different spaces in White Center, because like we have, the Boys and Girls Club space, the log cabin, King County Housing Authority has a couple of spaces, the school districts have a couple of spaces. It's not always the most accessible or it's hard to get into. So I think the whole idea was, how do we have something that is our own? So that community, just an open space for community, has been a constant since our inception. Same thing about affordable housing. Excuse me. I think, not to get too deep into it, but in the most recent history, when it comes to displacement, Park Lake Homes, now Ceola Greenbridge, is one point in our history where we saw some of the biggest displacement in our local area. And we had a theory that the reason that was the case is because the work was led by outsiders who they weren't necessarily invested.
Yeah.
They meant well, amazing homes. I grew up with going to friends' houses in Park Lake Homes. They were kind of shitty places, right? Like, great community, amazing place, but it wasn't the healthiest. I remember like black mold, sidings falling apart. Like, it wasn't the best. We did need solutions. However, the solutions weren't being driven, guided by, and for the community. So we said, hold up, that's dope. They did some great work. We provided a lot of opportunities for folks to come back, but it could have been better. And that's what I think drives a lot of the development, the affordable housing development work, is how do we do this by and for community, led by community? Because if we do that, and we don't have the final numbers yet, but I can almost assure you that a majority of the residents were either from 98146 or surrounding zip codes. We leased up this apartment in the first like 2.5 months. But our lenders and investors were projecting that it might take us until spring, like April, May, June, before we can fully lease up, because that's what other developments in our region are experiencing. We got it done in 2.5 months, right?
Yeah.
So it's because this community knew. We were able to do the outreach. We were able to get the families. We were able to make sure that we leased our building up, because we all know that the need's there, but we also know that where and how to tap into community.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. And the units are so beautiful. I mean, this whole campus is so gorgeous. I'm curious, what other sites did you all look at?
I think this was the only one.
This was the only one. Okay.
Well, because we got on the county's case, because before this, it was the food bank.
Yes.
But it was also the former public health center.
Yeah.
It was Mary's Place. It's 2.8 acres. It was a lot of land. It was being underutilized. It was sometimes, because of that underutilization, maybe a headache. I'm sure you guys maybe had to navigate a little bit of that.
A lot of that.
Right? But we knew that we could do something that activated the space better, that was actually better for the environment in the long term, if folks just gave us a chance. So we just went to town. Once we found this space, I think this was back when it was Rick, Steve, Seeley. They just, meeting after meeting with the county, they're like, let us do this. Give a community the chance to develop this project.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something about the food bank, but and I think most people know that the food bank was here, and I think a lot of people know that we were going to be a part of the hub project originally. Probably, I think I remember being in some of those meetings. So it must have been around 2017 or 2018 when we decided to back out. There was a lot of leadership transition on
Mm-hmm.
our side. I think between Rick and I, there were two other executive directors, and so, well, three if you count an interim. But it is really challenging for an organization, and then to think about taking on a capital campaign project and being a part of it. And so, for probably for the best, the food bank ultimately decided not to participate in the project. And I'm curious, like, how you reconciled navigating that, knowing that, like, okay, the food bank, you have to move out so we can work on
Mm-hmm.
our project.
Um, yeah, let me start off by saying all the original executive directors that started this project off, including all the service providers, so Health Point, Southwest, uh, White Center CDA, Community Roots Housing, who am I
Mm-hmm.
forgetting? And Feast. All of the original directors are gone. All the leaders that started with this vision have left, except for the one and only Pat Thompson at the Yes
Yeah,
Foundation. And the reason I share that is to say you have to think about the long game. It isn't about an individual person. It is about the vision that these leaders created, the conditions that they created, and any body of work should be able to continue regardless of the individual.
for sure.
So I share that to say, like, it's actually cool that the folks in the beginning had a vision and that it was still able to move forward. Um, and then the second part to the question is, I think the CDA always, always, always takes to heart, like even when we're the gatekeepers of access and space and resources, how do we do it in a just way, right? So how do we transition Mary's Place out? How do we help transition y'all out in a
Mm-hmm.
way that isn't so disruptive, while navigating the chaos of it all, right? Like I think I said earlier, every every point along this project was, oh, we'll be able to break ground in 2 or 3 months next year.
Yeah.
I can explain the nuances of that, but you're constantly chasing that hypothetical breaking ground mark.
Yeah.
So there's always this tension because for me it was like I want to be as transparent and upfront as possible, and I also know like we can in theory be like 3 months away, but we can also be like a whole year away, right? Because so much of this is actually dependent on different players, and sometimes those players don't always have the best interest of community at heart. So that was like I have to be the person in between all that, trying to like
Yeah.
be as upfront and transparent, and also say explain what scenarios we were in, because a scenario we were in at one point maybe shifted and it was no longer like our co-developer, but maybe it was a lender investor that was moving things around, or maybe it was the county that was like dragging something around. So you're constantly trying to be like upfront and fair and figure out what are the needs of other folks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like I was saying earlier, figure out what the problem is and how do you solve for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, you know, I think there were times where it felt really challenging just because, like, I feel so close to you and Sealy and not wanting to be in the way, but at the same time, like, there's only so many spaces that we could look at,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in White Center. And then, of course, like the COVID bomb that just like disrupted everything. It was really, really challenging. But, I think recognizing like why the hub project was so important and keeping that at the forefront, and like White Center can have both things.
Yep.
We're not working against each other. We're working together
Yep.
because this community deserves it. And, in hindsight, like I say, it worked out for the best because I remember looking at the original drawings where the food bank was going to be in this building. And at some point, I don't know who it was, someone before me had asked for the same amount of space that we had in just the food bank building. which was like 3,000 square feet. And thinking now that we have 10,000 square feet, like
Right?
we would have had to take up a whole floor. We would have needed a loading dock. We would have needed a whole parking lot. Like it all worked out for the best because we have 10,000 square feet. The parking is still a challenge being in downtown White Center, but
And you own it forever.
right, and we own it forever. We don't have any loans. Like it is just owned by the community. And so yeah, it was challenging at
For sure.
times, and it was like, you know, and it was all so new to me too. I had never done a capital project before.
Yep. I'd never built affordable housing in the community center before. Like I was like, okay, but we can do it.
We can
This
do it.
community
That's
can do
right.
it.
That's right. That's right.
I think the biggest thing was not to make things personal.
Yeah.
Like I never thought you or Jamae or the folks before this were ever angry at our own. We were angry at a system that was slowing us down, right? Either not providing, not giving resources. It was never personal when folks were like, hey, we need the food bank to be able to serve our residents for another 3-5 months. I get it. We want that too. How do we do that and not disrupt your guys' like operations and then this, right?
Right.
Because if the people who gave us resources got a hint of we weren't going to be able to break on time, then they weren't going to give us the resources.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by it's. And I think I developed that muscle as a leader where it's like, oh, people, sure, they're angry at me sometimes and they say it's my fault, but they're not really angry at me per se because they don't know me per se, right?
Mhm.
Like they're angry at the systems that we have created to that created the harm that they're experiencing or the discomfort that they're experiencing, and they got to challenge it to somebody. So sometimes heavy lays the crown. You got to step into those situations and just be able to receive it, and then take it and figure out how do we work a problem? How do we solve for that? It's not always going to be the CDA. It's not always going to be the food bank, but there
Right.
are always solutions to those issues.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like the lesson that you talked about earlier from your mentor, like leaning into how can we figure this out together really kind of creates the best solutions in my mind too, because like inevitably, like I'm not going to see everything that's happening at the table, right? But if I bring in you, Jefferson, Randy, and Ronnie, like you all are going to bring your own perspective, and you're going to see things that I didn't see.
Yep.
So your speech on Saturday at the ribbon cutting, like you and Joe Wynn made me cry. Because you were talking about like just all the barriers that this community has faced and how many people basically told us like you're not going to be able to pull off these capital projects.
Mhm.
Oh, you're not going to be able to do it in that amount of time. Oh, you're not going to be able to do it this way. And it's something that our team has often talked about too, particularly around our fundraising campaign for the capital campaign. You know, we did everything like backwards. We had no feasibility study.
Mhm.
You know, usually you raise the money and then buy the thing. And we were like buying the thing and then raising the money afterwards. And so I think that's a real testament to just being able to do things your own way. But I want to hear more about like your perspective on that and kind of what you were talking about during your speech and like maybe some of the barriers that you encountered with the Hub project.
Let's just start with how sometimes we can become our own barrier, right? I know that this community lives in abundance, lives with resources and knowledge and faith and community. And when the community knows what it wants, you just move for that. You move towards that. And I think sometimes because we don't get the recognition or the resources or the support from the people who are gatekeepers in the system, that we get dulled by it or we get jaded by it because so often It does not happen. People don't realize it, and then you just stop asking. One of the things that Brother Joe mentioned before, and I don't know if he mentioned it on Saturday, but it was when he was our district's 34th senator, state senator. The people in other parts of the district knew how to hit him up. He was getting the emails, he was getting the phone calls, he was getting the text messages from the Vashon and Seattleites. And even though our district, guarantee you, in every measurable way, has the highest needs, our community just doesn't know how to navigate that system the same way. Um, so it was incumbent upon us as leaders to be able to step into that space and be able to push for it and demand it and to lift up what we knew was this community's needs and keep moving towards it, right? So I said it before, but it's amazing to be at a time in White Center, and it almost feels weird to like feel happy about the things that are happening, right? Because we got the brand new school, the food bank, the hub. Um, there's another one I always. Anyway, the canopy. We have so many like cool opportunities that happened over the last couple of years, and it's because the leaders before us kept pushing
Yeah.
for it. They handed it off to us. We were able to deliver, make it happen. Um, but yeah, it just really it was important for us to be able to understand what are the systems, what are the things that are getting in our way, and then just push for it. Because this community deserves the nice things, right? We deserve to be able to enjoy access to healthcare, access to food, access to a quality education, and it shouldn't come at the cost of displacing the community that's been here for so long.
That's
We can
right.
have both.
Why did you say it feels weird to be excited about those things?
Because the world's falling apart right now.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's why it feels right. Because, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes. No, definitely. Like, Jefferson and I have talked about this a lot, particularly because in 2025 we had such an incredible year for revenue, and a lot of that is because of some of the things that happened last
yeah.
year too. And so, yes, I understand what you mean. Yeah, it does feel strange, but we should still be
Mm-hmm.
able to celebrate these milestones because they've been decades in the making, right?
So, and that's how we get through it, right? These are the
Yes.
moments that we need to use to fill up our cup and to push against the feeling that folks are experiencing. That's why we created these things, and it's more urgent than ever that we have access to all these amazing amenities, not amenities, but community resources, because this is what the community is about. We've always deserved this, and that's why it shouldn't be weird, and that's why we gotta. It's funny. When we started the podcast, it's like I can't believe I still have the energy. I feel more energized today because of how amazing this weekend was.
Yeah.
Than the opposite, right? Because it has been a super rewarding experience.
Are you an extrovert?
No,
Oh.
no. I can play the part. That's the Edie hat that I got to
Right.
rock. I'm gonna collapse at some point. But yeah.
So, I mean, I'm so curious to hear like what community thinks of everything that's happening, that has happened in the last couple of years, especially those that maybe have been here a long time or maybe those that have been displaced. Have you heard any whisperings?
Say it again. Say it again.
So, just thinking about like the new Evergreen High School, the Hub Project, the food bank, like all of this investment in the White Center community finally happening after decades of intentional disinvestment. I'm curious what community thinks of all of these changes, especially community that has maybe been here a long time or has had to be displaced.
Got it. There's so many different there's so many I don't know if it's the right word. There's so many different vested partners in this community. So many people who have different interests. And for me, it's always like who's moving in this neighborhood or in community that wants to bring people in and who are welcoming and understand that we all come from different strengths, um, different experiences, and who's navigating in a way that wants to keep people out. And like
Mm-hmm.
the people who maybe have different beliefs than me or navigate different, but are still about this community and are about keeping people in, I can roll with, right? Like they're part of our community. There's other folks who have actively wanted to keep people out,
Yeah.
that actively did not believe that we should be providing affordable housing regardless. Like
Yes.
those people, like I'm not gonna mess with. I've gotten to the point where I'm not even gonna put time into
Mm.
trying to change their mind. There is no amount of data. There's no amount of human storytelling. They are entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
They can share it in whatever platform they want to share it with, but they're not about this community. They're about themselves, and that's fine. You want to live alone in your little piece of paradise and not mess with other people that don't look like you, that don't speak like you, do you. But if you don't want to be about this beautiful city that brings everybody in, you don't want to be White Center, cool. I'm not going to lose any sleep. You don't have to come to the barbecue. You don't have to kick it with us. Nah. But it took me a while because for the longest time I was like, well, what can I do to, uh, you know, like neutralize them? And I was like, sometimes you're not gonna.
Yeah.
And the part that's super frustrating is the powers that be still listen to those type of people, and those type of people still have sway. I can't control what other people do, but I can control what I do,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna lose sleep on it anymore because
Yeah.
those people don't want to be about this community.
Right.
They don't want to accept that the times have changed.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know if that was the angle you were looking for, but
It was open.
yeah, okay.
um. So, what do you think makes White Center special?
What makes White Center special? All of us, right?
Yeah.
I think what does make White Center so? I don't want to give you a cheesy answer. I just gave you a cheesy answer, but I really think this community, we ride or die for each other.
Yeah.
Like there is a level of just a level of commitment, faith, togetherness that is here. You learn about it growing up, um, and that doesn't mean that we don't have moments of tension and where we fight among each other. Like it doesn't mean that like we're that perfect little Mayberry town where everybody gets to know each, but we roll with each other, and I just it's so beautiful because people show up. Saturday people showed up,
There
right?
are a lot of people.
Because people recognize that like this it's about this experience, and I kept on saying it a couple times, but somebody did it for my family.
Hmm.
Somebody at some point gave us an opportunity to live here and then eventually buy a home here and like build a family generational wealth. It was affordable, accessible for us at one point. Now it is our obligation to do that for the next family, for the next person who's immigrating from another part of the world
Yeah.
for unjust reasons. They should have an opportunity to get settled here, move out of the rat race that sometimes is apartments, and find a affordable home ownership, and to be able to age gracefully in this community that they grew up in. If they don't want to, if they want to move to other parts of Washington or other parts of the world, cool. But like somebody made that a possibility for my family, and I think I have that calling to do it for other folks. And I think a lot of folks have that calling, and that's what makes it really special.
I saw your dad on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious, like, what does he think of all of this?
What does oh man. He's super proud, right?
Yeah.
Um it's funny, the three brothers, his three sons, we we're not very spiritual people. My parents are super spiritual. Like they, go to church 2, 3 times a week. Like
Yeah.
that's their life.
Yeah.
And not, I have faith. Maybe I don't practice it in the ways that my dad maybe wanted us to do it, maybe wanted me to do it. But what we did learn is to be in service of others.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was ingrilled into us from from his faith and from our upbringing. And even though we don't do the thing every Sunday like the way he wants us to, he does see that we're in service the way he would want in his heart. So I think that's super rewarding for him. That his kids, yeah, are giving so much back.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all are superstars
Thank you.
in the
Thank you.
community.
Can I take that water real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Coffee?
And coffee.
Wow.
Whoa, thank you.
Huh?
Are you excited for an assistant? Are you excited for an assistant?
Yeah.
Yo,
I mean, not
let me tell
because of
you.
the coffee.
It has made my life a million times. I tell Ronnie, I used to have this like permanent kink. It just went away. Like my stress levels
Oh,
are
I can't wait
so-
for mine to go away.
Yeah, it is the best thing ever.
I didn't even think of that when you said that.
And it was I'll go back to that example of early on in this experience of being in a leadership role. I was like, damn, I need help, right?
Yeah.
So what can
yeah.
we do to make sure that I'm asking for the help that I need? I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not trying to, like, I know I could do this job, but I need some extra support and some of the other things.
Totally. Yeah. It's
It's funky though. I will say I love Ronnie, but it's weird to have somebody constantly there to help you. But I appreciate you. You're the best.
No problem.
I mean, yeah, my mind is blown right now.
This guy used to do development work and grants and everything all by himself.
Yeah.
What
I-
the hell?
Oh yeah, like I was doing the Nina thing. Nina is our development manager for this project,
Oh,
plus supervising the team, plus
Yeah.
fundraising.
Yeah.
Like it was wild.
That's
There's
a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You could
When-
get a Jefferson.
Yeah, when I when I came onto the team 4 years ago now, I was on the board prior to joining the staff, and was watching Carmen with no development director, no operations director, no support, doing all of those things, wearing all those hats, and yeah, you invest in your team, and it grows. I mean, it's clear.
Yep.
You create capacity, and then you have more time to focus on the things that are important, and to really like invest in your staff. I'm sure you have more time to think about now, like what's some strategic thoughts around what to do.
Yeah, I used to not be able to sleep through the night. And right around 2021, 2022 is really when I was just like, I don't know how I did it during that time.
During
But-
a global pandemic.
Yeah, global pandemic, capital campaign, running distribution, taking care of staff. But it was like Jefferson started in late 2021, and then Mike, our operations director, started in early 2022. And then like I remember the stress like dissipating, and now I need 8 hours of sleep. And like now I know what it's like to get the sleep I need. And less than that, I can't do it. But I think it was, oh man, Jefferson's first day on the job. The food bank building had gotten broken into, and it was like right before the holidays. I was supposed to
Oh,
leave to
no.
visit my in-laws like the next day. And it was, I just like that amount of stress. And Jefferson just came, he's like, I'll come hang out with you. It's okay. Like, I got you.
Yep,
And I
yep.
just remember feeling like a wave of relief, just like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do this alone anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like such a significant, pivotal moment. And thank goodness he decided to
Hey.
stay.
My first day. Somebody broke into the food bank. We need to handle this. You know, it was amazing. You
Yeah.
know, but
But
did
that's
it.
the same thing I've been saying. Don't get paralyzed with it. We can figure this out. We can work a problem. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And look at us now.
That's right. That's right.
I would say in my leadership journey, the biggest thing has been learning to just let go of some stuff and realizing that it's gonna be fine.
Totally. that's a lot of my leadership journey too. I like to call myself a recovering type A, um, because like I'm just, I lean towards like gathering all the information ahead of time, like making a plan, like even in my personal life a little bit, I'm a little neurotic. Like Randy knows I like to like make a spreadsheet of like the types of things that we might do, and I'm like relaxing on that a little bit too because of my leadership journey and like recognizing like okay, you know what? This might not be the way that I would have done it, but that's okay because guess what? I'm not the one that has to do it.
There you go. You
And
see, oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say and it often almost always turns out better than how I would have done it.
100%. Every single time, learning to let go. I think I'm like I need a little bit more of that because I'm very loosey goosey,
Mm.
and I do have like the way that things I would like things to play out, but like I can generally live with just about anything. I think my team would prefer if I had sometimes where had a little bit more direction, a little bit more structure. But I'm your stereotypical dude. Like I'm like, it's gonna be fine. um, and that has been part of my like trying to figure out how can I still stay true to myself
Yeah.
and also be able to help the team out because I don't want folks um, trying to read me or trying to guess me. Like I should provide enough information that folks know how to support whatever the thing is, the direction of whatever the thing is, and then still allow for enough agency or freedom for folks to make it their own.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, like I see leadership as a supporting role. The team are the experts in their jobs and in their lives, and like they know exactly what they need to do their job, and I'm just there to either get them money or,
Yep.
make the connection to get the person at the place to say yes. But other than that, like it's really mostly up to them. So that's why I'm a recovering type
A.
A. um shoot. I need to take better notes as we're talking because I always have like all these questions that come up for you. What meal reminds you of home? This is a question we like to ask all of our guests, and kind of for you the origin story behind this question. When I was hiring Jefferson and Mike, like I I didn't want to do like the standard interview questions like what's your strength, what's a weakness, like I was like forget all
Mm-hmm.
that. How do we get into who people are and what connects them to the work that we do? And so we started asking what meal reminds you of home. Randy got that question when he was interviewing, and then we just kind of carry it through with us in the podcast. Like when I'm meeting new people, I'll use that as like kind of an icebreaker.
Man, that's a good one. I love me food.
Me
Um,
too.
that's the beautiful thing about community. You don't go hungry. Um, I think I'm gonna go with chilaquiles. Um,
Ooh,
and as a no sabo kid, my Spanglish is strong. So when I was growing up, I used to say chicamales,
cute.
and I always wanted chicamales every Saturday, and my parents would always be like, "Oh, it's time for chicamales," and they thought it was so
Aww.
adorable. Um, but I think I have a lot of just amazing memories of doing breakfast in the mornings on Saturdays and Sundays with my family. And that was a thing. And it's such an adaptable food. It can be breakfast food, but it can also be a dinner food. It's so easy to make, and there's like light variations of it and like heavy duty variations of it. So it's adaptable. Um, so yeah, I know a place is good when they have some really good chilaquiles. What and
Do
what?
you have a recipe? Do you
Nah,
make it?
no.
Oh.
I mean, I can, but like it would not be as amazing as some other people in my life who make it.
We have a volunteer that cooks for us every Wednesday. well, we have a couple of volunteers that cook for us every week, but one in particular that cooks every Wednesday, and she makes amazing. So
Okay. All right.
I was like, oh, I should text you the next time she makes it,
Oh.
but honestly, I should just text you when she cooks because
Yes.
her food is incredible.
I will come through. I don't even know. I don't care if there's a meeting. I'll cancel it.
We can save some for you too.
Yes.
Were you gonna say something?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, but I forgot.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Does your family's restaurant still exist?
It does in different variations, but not the one that I grew up in. So the restaurant was Jalisco's in Lower Queen Anne.
No way. I remember Jalisco. So I've been there for sure.
Did you go to the cantina or the restaurant?
The restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I worked at the restaurant. My uncle, he opened up all the Jalisco's back in the day, and brought my dad here. Excuse me. So my dad managed the Jalisco restaurant, the little tiny one. So if you wanted drinks, you wanted big margaritas, you go to the cantina across the street. It was wild, like how successful these restaurants were in the 90s, because he literally bought 2 restaurants across the street from each other.
Wow.
Yeah. But also why maybe they didn't last so long. And it's a trip because I go by there and there's still another Mexican restaurant there. Their food's, solid. It's not like how we used to do it, but it was pretty good. But it's crazy how that area has redeveloped. And for us, like that was where we first settled in the United States. So when we came into Lower Queen Anne, we lived in the office above the restaurant.
Oh.
And I used to do my showers in the bathroom sink. Like that's how we lived, because back then, we didn't necessarily have the appropriate paperwork or documentation. It took our family damn near 25 years to become U.S. citizens. Like it took forever. So whoever's like, well, if everybody just does it the right way.
I couldn't roll my eyes harder
Right?
whenever I hear that. Yeah.
It took forever, right? And our journey was so hard, and it took so many people looking out for us and helping us, my parents, navigate a very complex system, just for us to eventually get our residency, and then eventually, but all that to say, because of that situation, we couldn't live in traditional places, so we had to straight up live in an office. That was our home for so long. So I think that's the other reason why I take a lot of this near and dear to me, because I know what my family had to go through to be settled and rooted here, and how do we provide those kind of opportunities for other folks?
Yeah. So you had your big grand opening over the weekend. All of the agencies are moved in.
Yep.
So, okay, help me. Neighborhood house?
Nope.
No.
All good. Health Point,
Health Point.
Southwest Youth and Family Services. So let's start with Health Point. They're right next door. They're doing dental and healthcare services. They're also temporarily doing the teen services out of Evergreen until they can build out the Evergreen clinic space.
Okay, cool.
So we got a lot of families coming
Yeah.
through, young folks coming through, getting healthcare services, dental services. I think I've said this before, but what started off as quantitative data, like just people just anecdotally saying, hey, we're struggling with dental. We were able to figure out and solve for, and now they have 3 dental chairs there.
That's so cool.
It's huge, and it's been I think one of their highest needs as we got started, or for services that folks are asking for. To the right of us, we have Southwest Youth and Family Services. They provide open door programming for opportunity youth. So for those of you who don't know opportunity youth, 16 to 24-year-olds who've disengaged from traditional school or the workforce environment. So they bring young folks back into the fold and figure out how do we get them the right educational opportunities or workforce opportunities, whatever the young folk needs to get back into doing, what they want to do in life. They also are going to have their behavioral health programming for young adults here, and a whole bunch of other services. So they're upstairs, and they're also going to be using the classrooms for their open door programming.
Okay, amazing. The rooms are so nice too.
Right?
The behavioral health rooms.
They're going to have the little, the sound thing? So
Oh,
like
that's
muffles.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Yes Foundation of White Center. They're going to have the recording studio downstairs. They're also
Yay.
going to be just doing activities throughout the building. They're going to be doing gardening out in the plaza and in the back, and we're probably just gonna take over the park and just do gardening all over the park.
Awesome.
Um, what else?
Does Pat have an office here?
Yep, yep.
Yay!
So she has a space here, plus the recording studio. And then Feast Seattle.
Yeah.
So they're moving their office space here, but I think eventually once like their rhythm gets going, they're also going to be using some of the classroom spaces and just using
awesome.
all the space to activate it. And then the CDA. We're here where we've moved over our daily play and learn. So we have our not daily, it's Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 12. And each day it's either Spanish, Vietnamese, Somali, or multicultural English play and learns. 0 to 5. Bring your kids in, do an early learning developmental milestone activity, so shapes, colors, numbers, and then it's just like cheeseman hour for the rest of the hour where parents are just kicking it, talking, seeing what's going on. And this is what I love about my team is in that hour after the activity, what they're really doing is they're hearing what community is asking for, and they're doing the light case management work where they're saying, oh, you need access to food, you need diapers, you need access to healthcare.
Yeah.
Oh, housing? Say what? Like they're really doing some light social work here, and they're just plugging our community into the resources that they need. Oh, you need help registering for kindergarten? Bet, let's do it together. So even though it is an early learning developmental program, it's so much more than that for us. We're going to be doing a youth internship program called Community Essence. It's really grounded around financial literacy and community wellness. We really hope that program is going to morph into a youth entrepreneurship program where young folks in White Center and around King County, especially opportunity youth, can get re-engaged, come into the makerspace and make something, go into the recording studio, make art, work at the cafe shop downstairs. Develop those skill sets that you need to be an entrepreneur, because so many of the young folks that we're working with keep saying like they're not trying to work for somebody, they want to be their own boss. But let's give you the skill sets to do that, to invest in your natural gift, whether it's making art, music, working in the community kitchen that we're trying to get online.
Yeah.
And then make something, and then hopefully we can do pop-ups downstairs, pop-ups in the plaza, but really help young folks learn the entrepreneurship basics to be successful bosses.
That's so cool. What's next for the White Center CDA?
All that. We're going to be doing an after school age childcare program downstairs. So eventually we want to be able to see some of the little ones from White Center Heights, Mount View, come here. Because affordable, accessible childcare has been a reoccurring theme that we heard from the community.
Yes.
So how do we activate this space to make that possible? And, I would say the big three as it relates to housing, we need more housing stock. We need more affordable housing. We need more opportunities or pathways to home ownership. And we need elder care housing. So how do we help our elders peacefully, graciously into the next phase of their lives? And how do we do the four walls and a roof that can provide that? Same with home ownership. Bro, it's a trip. Park Lake Homes is selling for $1 million. When I grew up, I never thought Park Lake Homes.
I mean, it's a little, the housing market is wild. We bought our house in 2021, and right at the same time, I bought the food bank building. So I'll just tell you about the amount of stress that I was under during that time. But anyway, we were looking around White Center because we had always lived in places that was easy for my husband to commute. And so we're like, okay, this time around, like, let's look in West Seattle, Burien, White Center. And I mean, 2-person household income, like 2-person income. And we couldn't get in White Center. And we ended up in Skyway, which, is like a sister community. But yeah, the housing prices here are
crazy.
Intense.
It does not, but there are solutions to these problems. And I know that there are models out there in other parts of the world, in King County, that we can duplicate, that we can bring here. So maybe it's not going to be the traditional option that folks want, but I think there's ways to do starter homes, to do modular homes, to do townhouses, duplexes, those kind of opportunities that help build a little bit of equity instead of folks being kind of stuck in that eternal rat race,
Yeah.
and build those opportunities, cooperative opportunities here in White Center, give folks a taste of what homeownership is like, and keep it permanently affordable. So the goal is to do affordable homeownership, but it's a resource that will forever be a White Center resource. And if a family does want to, maybe sell their home someday, they're going to make the commitment to pass it along affordable to another family so
Yeah.
that they can build equity and they can start up.
That's so cool.
So we don't know how we're going to get there, but the same way we didn't know we were going to get there 8 years ago
Right,
for this
right,
building,
right.
we're going to get there for this.
Right. Is there a third thing, or was that 3?
And just more affordable housing like the
Okay.
ones that we did with Canopy.
Okay.
Being able to say that for life, this is always going to be permanently affordable. All 76 units will always be below what the market is asking for, is a gift for this community. Folks still have to work, still have to pay rent, but depending on their income, we adjust the pay. And having that be a commitment for, dang near 50 years is a beautiful gift, a beautiful way that we can keep things affordable in White Center. And I think we need more of this because that's the only way. I would love for me, what we can do for our area. One of the things our sister Helen is working on downstairs is Project 76.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we move different systems to be more equitable, to be more just? I would love one of the outcomes of that project that we're doing is that there's a commitment in White Center that we're moving towards. I don't care about the rest of the world, but if in White Center by 2076, folks are spending no more than 10% of their income for their housing, that's how I want to move us in that direction. And whether it's home ownership, rentals, what have you, I believe that if we just cap it at 10% somehow, right? Then that's going to give folks the abundance of resources to do other things in their life.
For sure. That's
Healthcare,
incredible.
childcare. And it's not going to happen overnight, right? But if we slowly hold our systems accountable and say, hey, I'm not asking for it to be free, but I'm saying that you need to join us in this commitment of 10%, we can slowly start to move the other way. So I don't know if that's the final thing of Project 2076, but I know that that's one of my personal things around this kind of ecosystem around housing that I want to move us towards too, because people should not be spending 50% of their income on housing.
Yeah. In the food bank industry, we say the rent eats first. So, because people are paying their rent first before they're buying groceries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, across the country, we've just seen that same trend take over. So it's incredible to hear like this goal to get to 10%. Like I'm even thinking about that in my own life, like what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I want to go back because I'm curious because I don't know how you make it happen. How did you all make it happen that the canopy would be affordable for 50, did you say 50 years?
So it's a low-income housing tax credit project. It's one of the several different finances that we were able to get for that project, along with generous donations from the county, the state, the federal government. It really does take a whole bunch of different funding sources to be part of the capital stack. But part of it is that you then write as a guarantee forever and ever and ever that you're committed to this. And it's a double-edged sword. Now that I'm going to be on like the developer side, it also means that we are capped at the revenue that we're going to get to pay off for capital improvements. We're going to be capped for our staffing levels. We're going to be capped for what have you, right? And we'll never be able, like we already know 20 years out, 30 years out, what our revenues are going to be because we can never go above that. And, it increases for the cost of inflation, but that's already anticipated. Somebody's blowing me up right now. And all that to say, that's the amazing, like that responsibility falls on us as the developer. It shouldn't fall on anybody else. But you'll just see in our region, for example, during the pandemic, a lot of the affordable housing developers are underwater because there just hasn't been enough rent revenue to offset their expenses of staff and of capital improvements. And our region is really struggling with that because of the pandemic and uh, because they don't have the resources to provide the basic necessities for their residents. So there's a lot of tension with that infrastructure. It ultimately means something's got to give, and that's where we have to figure it out as a community. I know at the end of the day, like White Centers, I firmly believe that White Center will solve for that. That the community will come together and make sure that we're providing for this community, so that there is no instability.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important for me that the property management, the people who are on site day in day out, come from this community, because people will trust us to solve a problem, right? And if we don't, we're going to hear about it.
Right.
So that's I think sometimes all the outside developers, they don't have that kind of commitment. But I'm gonna go to Safeway and I'm gonna be buying groceries, and somebody can be like, "Yo, why hasn't
An
my heat pump
auntie
worked?"
is
Right?
gonna come up to you. Yeah.
So I hold that very personally, right? And I think that's why it's so important that we have community leading in these projects instead of some outside person who gets to clock in at 9 o'clock and leave at 5 o'clock. Like, I'm not leaving, right? This is my home.
That's amazing. We kind of talked about earlier just like all of the things happening around us. So I'm maybe to close us out a little bit, I'm curious, what continues to give you hope?
Hmm. Um, I mean, just the way community keeps showing up. Um, and the ways that communities are showing up right now during the crazy times, when it should be the people who have power who are showing up and doing that kind of heavy lifting, right? Like, it should not be us having to show up and hold systems accountable when they're trying to kidnap our people, but we are
Yeah.
the ones that have to do it, because if we don't do it, then no one's
Right.
gonna do it. And if we don't demand the people who have the power to stop that to do it, then they're never gonna do it. They're gonna enable it and keep it. So, but the reason what gives me hope is every time that there's something crazy that's happening, the response isn't defeat, but it's more community, more unity, more folks
Yeah.
showing up and saying we have to stop this. And it's sad that we need that catalyst, but that's the unfortunate reality of where we're at right now. But it's also what gives me hope, and that our young folks are more aware. And sometimes I don't think it's fair, because when I was growing up, I was so naive, right,
Mm.
to the world. Like what I was saying earlier, where I was like, I didn't realize all the things that created the conditions for me to think, let's get out of White Center, until I had that learning. Our young folks are maybe not that they're learning too much, um, but it sucks that they have to learn it in the way that they're learning, right?
Yeah.
But it's a reality, and the way that they're navigating, and the way that they're going to be more resilient 10 times over through this, and know how to not duplicate the things that are happening, right? Because eventually it will be their turn. The
Yeah.
same way right now we're living through our turn of being the people who get to hold the weight and move the
Mm-hmm.
system. What brings me hope is that they are seeing the unjust things that are happening now in their world. They're going to be able to even more so prevent it, because that's how the system changes through time. I think because I've gotten a little bit past that place of being the eternal jaded, get off my lawn, angry, mean old
Mm-hmm.
dude. um I got past that because I realized, like, oh, y- that's not gonna bring, like, no one's gonna want to live in that kind of world. But if we can create the world where folks are really getting to, like, do the thing. Sorry, I'm butchering what I'm saying here, but we're gonna cut this part.
Just
Let's hopefully
spit it out. It comes out how it comes out.
I guess. I think the part that I'm realizing is that we are stepping into the place where we get to shape the world.
Mm.
Like, the weight of that is now, like, becoming our opportunity, and that's wild. But it's also like that how things go.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a weird rant. I don't know
No,
how I feel
it was
about that one.
You're good.
it was
Okay.
good.
No.
It was not weird.
What gives you hope? Yeah. Anybody.
What gives me hope? Well, for me, also the kids. I got a son at White Center Heights, and whenever I hang, I've gone like chaperone their field trips, and they're crazy kids, but it's just amazing the energy, and they don't really, these are 7-year-olds, so they don't really recognize what's happening in the world.
But they feel it.
But they feel it. But they feel it. They feel the stress at home and the community and stuff. And they're just so inspiring in terms of like the energy that they're gonna bring. And it's such a beautiful, diverse community of kids. That they're all bilingual. They're all gonna come into the world like seeing and eating the foods and being part of community. So to me, it's really the youth that gives me hope. Just knowing that the next generation is really, they have a lot of stuff coming at them every day, but they handle it, and I think that we're gonna be in good hands when we're
Yep.
old and relying on them to take care of us.
What about you, Randy or Ronnie, if you want to chime in?
Gives me hope. I'm gonna say just creativity. I do photography on the side, and so I've been doing a lot of networking, and it's just insane to see like everyone just wants to create and like just collaborate. And so I think when you have a common goal, it just makes things easier. Whether that's the same vision or everyone goes on a different path, but at the end of the day, it's the same road. And yeah, I think just collaboration and being able to be inspired while I was creating something.
Hey.
What gives me hope, I think for sure, is like the huge investment in community with each other and like just the belief between people. I'm constantly sort of surprised that we have so many people that are really quick to action. When we ask for things, people are automatically there. They want to help, they want to show up. And that just feels really good that we don't have to do things alone. And when we're consistently on social media and we're seeing things, it feels really dire. But when we turn to each other in person, like people really, really show up, and that makes me feel really, really good.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, everything everybody said, but I mean, a couple of things. So, getting to be at the White Center Food Bank and in the White Center community gives me a lot of hope. Like, I just get to see it every day, what it means to show up for each other, to show up when things are hard, to show up when things are good. Like, that consistency of just community being there for each other gives me a lot of hope. And this immense a sense of belonging that we get to feel in the White Center community at White Center Food Bank. Like, everybody's welcome the same, nobody most of the time, like, nobody gives you a second look. Like, if you walk into a place, like, it ever since I've been here, it's been a place that makes me feel like home. And I've talked about this on other podcasts too, especially being a mixed race person, growing up in a very white community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody knew where to place me. And being in White Center, I just get to be Carmen. I don't have to be, what are you? And then, last week, I shared this with the staff at White Center Food Bank. I got to give a presentation to third graders on the history of food insecurity, and just the way that they understood some of the concepts that I talked about. Just like, it's okay if somebody has a single parent household versus a two, like, both families deserve to eat and be able to eat the way they want to, and no shame going into the food bank. And I've been thinking about that a lot in the last week of this idea, just like youth understand so much. And then I was hearing what you said too, just like almost like this burden that they kind of have to carry. Like, you want them to have that, be that naive person that we got to be a little bit. And the fact that they have to carry this burden, you feel like a little guilty, but they give me hope because they'll be the next generation of leaders, the next executive directors, development directors, stepping into these roles and doing a way better job than we could have ever imagined.
Yep.
All right. Well, we could hang out all day and
Yep.
talk and produce like 5 episodes of the podcast. So we'll just have to come back another time
We
and
will.
hang out. But thank you so much for having us. This has been really incredible, and I feel a lot of gratitude every time I get to step onto this space. Often it makes me emotional thinking about the Hub project and being here and knowing that the food bank used to be here and just getting to see what it is now. It brings me a lot of joy, and it feels really good that we were able to work together and then just get to see, the families that, are moving in.
Yep.
I overheard one of the kids say one day when they were moving in, they were like, "Oh my gosh, we have a balcony now!" Like, it was so cute, and it just fills my heart up just to see this space for what it is now. It's way better than I could have ever imagined. So really nice job to the Hub team here. And any last thoughts?
Just thank you, White Center Food Bank, for feeding our community, for being part of this journey with us, for walking alongside us, for keeping us accountable to the White Center community the way that y'all have had to keep us accountable to this journey to get here, and for both the generosity and the love that you've given us, because we got here because of us, not because of me, not because of Carmen, but because of this community coming together and saying we can solve a problem, we can make this happen together, and that's what it's really all about. Moving forward, moving on to the next version. It's all about us figuring it out. So thank you.
Thank you. Does the White Center CDA have any announcements?
No, not that the announcements that I already shared earlier. So we got our play learns come through, our internships about to come online. Keep an eye out for the our school age childcare program once that becomes online. Trying to think, we're doing a survey currently around our housing initiatives, permanent affordability housing survey. So check that out. Eventually, we're going to be able to activate the warming kitchen, the commissary kitchen, and actually, I'm going to reveal it right here, right now.
Wow. Exclusive.
An exclusive announcement. We're going to start our very own coffee shop.
Yes.
Cafe and tea. And the lead barista, the manager, is Kenneth Mias. It's a local person, grew up here in White Center. Long background in the service industry, loves coffee. And
Your friend
Kenneth?
from high school?
Yes.
Wow.
You know her.
Yeah.
The Mias family.
I know her because of you.
Ooh.
She's
So
the esthetician, right?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's helping open up the coffee
Oh
shop.
my gosh, that's so cool.
We're really hoping that helps with the workforce development opportunity for young folks to just learn some of those basics around customer service. But the coffee shop is going to be called Site 3 Cafe. It's an homage to Park Lake Homes back in the day. So for those of you who don't know, Park Lake Homes was broken up into 2 spaces. Now it's Cielo and Greenbridge. But back in the day, it used to be Site 1, Site 2, and we're naming that Site 3 to represent.
Oh, that's fun.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's an homage to Site 1, Site 2, Site 3, but it's also a third space, a convenient space that folks can come together and break bread, drink a little bit of coffee, a little bit of tea, and then just kick it at the Hub.
Do you have a date for that yet?
As soon as we can get all the permits and that kind of stuff, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But in Q3 of 2020 or Q1 of 2026, keep an eye out for Site 3 Cafe.
That's really soon.
It's going to happen.
That's so cool. That's a great announcement. Okay, awesome. And then for White Center Food Bank, so we've been talking about this recipe book that
Ooh.
Randy has been putting together for a while now. And we finally have like an official launch date for it.
Let's go.
It's going to be April 16th at the Rat City Art Walk.
Okay.
Yes, so that's when we're going to release it. And this is a collection of recipes from customers, volunteers, some staff at the food bank, and the pictures are gorgeous. Like, it makes you want to eat a page.
Scrumptious?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it looks so good.
Let's go.
Yes. So for volume 2, if you decide to have a recipe,
Mm,
I know the people would want an Aaron Garcia
an exclusive.
recipe.
The best hard-boiled eggs of your life.
I mean,
I
let's
got you
go.
covered. Well, it is not my natural gift, but if you need me to eat stuff from the recipe book, I got you covered. But of course, I'll come up with something. I used to make fudge back in the day. That was something I did
Really?
in college. Baking was actually something I enjoyed. So maybe I'd have to, undust that skill set and figure it out again.
Yeah, once that kitchen's up and running,
Yep.
you can use it as a test kitchen.
Could be a family recipe
That's
that
true.
you
It-
bring through.
It could be a
Mom's
family.
chilaquiles.
Oh.
If you guys ever do a cocktail version of this, I love me some margaritas. I got a perfect margarita recipe. I used to have to make it in huge amounts for our restaurant back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
We have, we could add a beverage section.
The adult section. Okay.
Okay, we can feature it at our fall event because we usually do a margarita,
Okay.
and I've been the one that has been like coming up with the recipes, but I think it would be better to have a local celebrity's
Let's do
recipe.
A
Yeah.
little
Let's do
Cadillac
it.
margarita action.
Yes, let's go. Gary
Yo.
Payton's gonna show up.
Oh,
Like,
man. No pressure. That's awesome.
And so that's going to conclude this episode. You can follow White Center Food Bank at White Center Food Bank on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And then you can follow the White Center CDA at White Center_CDA on Instagram
Yep. And all the other socials, you can find us. We're out there.
and other socials. Thank you all so much. And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you next month.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo!